Hello, everyone. So, as I was preparing for the speech, I realized that the Virgin Megastore brand has been around for 40 years. But I'm not here today to talk to you about how we've managed to survive in the Middle East and why we're still around, but more, it's really very much a disruption story on how we were able to take the Virgin Megastore brand and turn it into the #1 youth retail destination across the Middle East. But with that is a very personal journey of mine, which I hope you'll give me a chance to share with you. I used to work in the physical business of records and CDs, and I saw at Sony, Warner, Viacom, BMG, a lot of great executives in the good times and how they reacted to the bad times. Almost 17 years ago, a 19-year-old by the name of Sean Fanning started a peer-to-peer network called Napster. Napster had 60 million users in the first year after it launched. So at the time, I was working for a German media company called Bertelsmann, and my team and I thought it would be a very good idea to go out there and buy them. It was the worst idea ever. Every record label sued us. We had to shut down. 60 million users gone. Fast forward many years later. In 2015, 60 million users subscribed and paid for a streaming music service, and physical CDs are gone. It's a big lesson in disruption. So it's an overused term, but disrupt or get disrupted, I lived it firsthand. So the question was there a place for Virgin Megastores? I'm sure some of you do remember those. But at the same time, as physical sales were dropping, artists had to find different ways of making money. So they became curators and creators. Fashion, beauty, you know it, you consume it. They started making their money off of endorsements. So they didn't need Virgin Megastore anymore. So 10 years ago, around that time, Virgin asked me to go to the Middle East and see what could be done. Kind of a do or die kind of situation. Wasn't easy being a woman at the head of a company. Wasn't easy being an Arabic woman at the head of a company. Wasn't easy being in that kind of industry as an Arabic woman. On top of all that, we were representing a very outspoken, if not controversial brand, Virgin, in a region that didn't really entertain a lot of controversy. So not a very easy situation to be in. So the easy answer, when all the banks and suppliers and everyone was getting worried because the Virgin Megastores had shut down in the UK and the US, or were shutting down, was to just say, it's over, it's finished. But in disruption, there's something called the J-curve. So you sit on the fence for a little bit, and you kind of take everything in. What's happening? Do I stay? Do I leave? And in that time, I started looking at the statistics of the Middle East. 60% of the population was under the age of 25. Very high unemployment, no opportunity for entrepreneurship. And at that time, there was a lot of sentiment towards moving away from consuming American products, British products, anything that was international, to more consuming local culture. We started seeing local Arabic rap emerging as an example. We started seeing book authors trying to self-publish. It was maybe very, I think Richard mentioned acorns, tiny little seeds of change beginning to happen. And that was my aha moment. Not only are we going to disrupt and go in there and change Virgin Megastore into something much, much bigger, but we actually have a responsibility to play as a brand, and we're going to help elevate and move the entire Arabic culture to something that the Arabic population can really believe in. We're also going to support entrepreneurship. We're also going to support many different businesses that want to rely on us to become an ecosystem. So the thought was, can we become more than just a record store? Can we become the destination for youth? Can we become a shop about people, not about products? So we don't sell shoes, we don't sell clothes, we don't sell beauty. We're actually this liminal space. It changes all the time. Every time you come in, there's something new. It could be an art installation, could be a fashion installation. And we believed in something called fate. It became a store about fashion, art, technology, and entertainment, all in one space, evolving all the time, supporting local artists, local communities. How about I show you a video so you can imagine the before, which was this. Yeah. Very earthy in tone, very natural. In the Middle East, a lot of these places are very glitzy and glamorous, but the young consumer is looking for young, new ways of approaching retail, and you wanted the space to be for them. The cash counters always feel like you're checking into a hotel, not checking out of a store. Very easy. We brought in fashion. We brought in a lot of beauty. We brought in sunglasses, accessories. We put in a slide to make it really fun to go up and down. Very engaging. The average tenure in the stores with our staff is 7 years. So all of a sudden, the concept really made sense. And the statistics are unbelievable. Our customers come to Virgin 2 to 3 times a week. They spend between 30 and 45 minutes. Those figures are almost unheard of in retail because we really created it as their third space. When you see a DJ booth, you can just get behind it and play a set. If you're in a band, there's a stage for you to just come into the store and practice. Anything you want to do, say the furniture for books, you can sit on the furniture because that's what teenagers do. And it became, I go to school, I go home, I go to Virgin. I go to work, I go home, I go to Virgin. And that's what Virgin has become in the Middle East. Completely disruptive in its space. No other retail space has ever created a concept around a consumer and not around a brand. And now that's being approached by many different people all over the world. Yeah. So just some stats for you. Today, over 60% of our population under the age of 29, which is pretty remarkable for a brand that's 40 years old. It's almost unheard of. I've studied many different brands, and it's rare that you can ever hold on to a really, really young consumer. And that age group is just dropping because we become more and more aspirational to the 8-year-old, the 10-year-old. More importantly, the gender shifted as well. Virgin Megastore historically has been a brand very much for males, and what we've done in the Middle East is gear it a lot more towards females as well. What we've also done is bring in a lot of the personalization and the localization. So when you walk in, there are so many events and things that we walk you through to make it really, really exciting to be there. Today, as we all know, experience is an expectation. It's no longer a reason to charge more for a product. It's no longer a reason for you to stand out from the crowd. It's just what young consumers expect, especially when we've got digital. And I don't think that digital and physical necessarily compete, but they go really, really nicely hand in hand. And the way we think of it as the physical stores need to broadcast a lot of digital experiences. So whenever you're in the store, there's always a reason for you to Snapchat, to create a stream, to really be very engaged with all of your friends online, and to bring them back into the store to experience more and more. The slide was innovative. When you think about retail, and if anyone here is in the retail industry, normally if you have a 2-floor setup, what they do is they put items that you really need on the 2nd floor to force you to go upstairs. That's really annoying. We thought, why don't we just make it really fun to go upstairs? And the best way to do that is to make it really fun to go down. And that's been a really great feature in our stores. We work a lot with local artists as well to make sure that we encourage them. There aren't a lot of opportunities in the Middle East if you're a local artist to really engage. But all of that, I make it sound really, really simple and really easy. It's not easy to disrupt. It's not easy to disrupt a brand that has a heritage as a record store. Even when we do a lot of our research today, young people don't even know what a record store is, but they'll say Virgin, the record store. So we have a very strong history in music, in physical product. So how do you make that more than that? For me, it's been really, really important to be very, very single-minded and single-focused about what we wanted to do. It's been important to bring the right team on board who really believed in us. it was really important that this disruption was a lot more than just making money. As a woman in charge of this business, I've done a lot for women in the Middle East. I've encouraged women to work, to come back to work, give them opportunities in markets like Egypt and Jordan, where they can't work late because of parental restrictions and otherwise. We've made sure that we changed and adapted the culture to allow them to come to work and be productive. Because many different parts of the Middle East are not rich, like many would think, so all members of the family need to work. So we've been able to provide that structure. We've been able to provide a lot of training. We work very, very closely with entrepreneurs. We've helped launch hundreds of products in the Middle East and abroad as well. We've helped them as well curate products for the Middle East and become a reference point for them. So that's been really, really exciting. And the last one, in my opinion, is always being ready to be disrupted. So when we think about what are some of the issues that we're facing now, where is the next step for us? Where is disruption going to come from? And I think it was really good to hear from the purpose segment earlier. And maybe this is a continuation of Cyril's narrative about consumption. We feel like the next leadership position we're going to take in as a retailer is a seismic move in unconsumption. Sounds strange that that would be in the Middle East, but that is a movement that's taking place. So how can you, as a retailer, as a next level of disruption, tell your customers to consume less? And I think that that's the responsibility of retailers today. And that's a space we're going to be occupying in a very big way. So we've been negotiating with our suppliers to reduce the packaging. We've been discussing with our customers how to spend more on quality versus quantity. We've been talking to the business community about not selling items on Black Fridays and white days below cost because we think that's fiscally irresponsible and it's forcing consumers to buy things they don't need. And I think that there's a lot that we need to do in that space, and we've already started. We started in our toy section, for example. They say that consumers remember you the minute they open a product to use it, and they remember you when they throw the product away, and they'll think very badly of you as a retailer if they'd never actually used that product. So we started looking at items that encourage family time, that encourage mother and daughter to spend time together, or father and daughter, or son. So we feel like the unconsumption is something we need to really work hard at. We support over 50 nationalities in our business, and there's a great opportunity to take items from people when they're not using them and really give them to those who do. And being in the Middle East and being close to the third world in such a big way, and having the influence of a Virgin Megastore brand is an opportunity to do so much. Thank you.